we can format and prepare our manuscript in the format of journal and conferences. So, sir, again, I take this opportunity to hand over the session to you. Please, sir.
Thank you. So, thank you all, and it's a post-lunch session, afternoon session. I understand it's rather a difficult proposition to. Am I audible, by the way, to all?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes.
So it's very difficult, a challenging task, rather, better to say, attending some technical topic after lunch. But nevertheless, I was requested to deliver on how to use LaTeX. LaTeX is a software, is a system which we shall see, used for preparing scientific, particularly scientific or technical documents. So it's particularly very much focused to deal with this type of documents. Okay. So I shall be assisted with one of my scholars, Mohammad Nasir. In fact, the presentation will be in distributed mode, where Nasir is going to take the responsibility of presenting, and I shall discuss. In fact, there will be issues of coding which he is going to take care of, and the effects I shall try to explain. So this is the way it's going to work. In fact, few days back, another another session or another topic, I mean another event was there where a session was there on LaTeX itself. So LaTeX as a software as it stands now is very difficult to complete within such a short span of time. So what we have decided, we shall proceed, and up to the time, whatever is allowed, whichever could be covered, we shall cover that, and then we shall stop there. Okay. So please bear with. Go. So Nasir, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. So should I share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Do it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now is it visible, sir?
Yeah, I mean material is not coming, but
Okay, I'm sharing.
Yeah, now it is visible. Is it visible to all?
Yes, visible, sir.
Yes, sir, visible and audible too.
Okay, thank you. So let us
Yes,
start. Whatever. Nasir, please hide. This hide option is there at the bottom. At the bottom right side. Yeah. And yeah. So see, it's a typical representation of a technical or scientific document where may it be a thesis or a book, or structurally it's very much similar, where there is a sort of a title page like this, followed by, I mean, in the title page there is a title, then maybe the author or editor, maybe there may be some logo and all these things. Followed by, I mean, immediately after title page there is table of contents. Proceed, please proceed. Then there is title, I mean, table of contents, where all the individual where the table of contents contains page indexing of different chapters and sections within chapters, subsections within sections, and all that. So very well structured, hierarchical structure. So that way the table of contents may be present. Then the list of figures may be there, where all the figures inside the document, their page indexing will be available. Then list of tables, that means all the tables appearing here and there across the document will be made available along with their page indexing. So after this, there are different chapters, typically chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, so on and so forth. And there may be, any chapter may have its different name or title, chapter title, I should say. And after different chapters, there may be reference or bibliography, as the case may be. So this is the typical structure of a technical or maybe any standard document. Now, coming to what is particularly special about technical document or scientific document, because typically in scientific or technical document, there may be mathematical symbols, there may be figures, you may be in need of different types of tabular representations and all that. So different lists and all these things, which are very much an indispensable part, commonly available or commonly maybe found in case of a technical or scientific document. So dealing with or handling with this type of objects, commonly they're known as objects, dealing with this type of objects, maybe table or figure or whatever it may be, how these effects can be made available, that is what LaTex is all about, in fact. Now, before I go into LaTex, very small, some points that I need to draw your kind attention to. We are quite conversant in using word processing software like Microsoft Word or something like that, where our experience is typically that whatever we want, may it be textual one, we just go on and if there is a figure, we just fetch the figure from some other source and paste it there. So basically copy paste, cut paste, this type of strong technologies are there as far as preparation of Word documents are concerned. Now, so this is whatever you do it online basically. So the content is open. That means the Word document is open. You go on, making your or building your building the material with all your all your contents and all that. And once you are prepared, you just save and come out. That is what the history or what the story of preparing a Word document suggests. Now, the experience in respect of LaTeX document or preparing a document of whichever nature it may be, using LaTeX is somewhat different. Where instead of opening the file like a Word document and preparing your objects or basically positioning your object as per your wish, what you do when using LaTeX is that for preparing different objects, you have scripts basically. So it's a script-oriented software where there are different scripts or environments particularly used in the context of preparing different type of objects. So objects are basically results that we observe, and in order to get the shape of that type of object in the appropriate place, we need to have some script, background script, and basically the effect of the script when compiled by the LaTeX system, this type of object is generated. So as we see, for example, in this title page, this particular figure or this particular caption or maybe the title, all these are results of, first of all, they are different objects, and each and every object is a result of different type of scripts, particularly specific for preparing a particular type of object. So essentially, while using LaTeX, what we learn is which particular script is or any environment is useful for preparing which type of object. So once we are habituated in doing that, then rest is very much straightforward. So as such, what we do is basically writing down certain scripts using certain specific grammar or complying specific grammar. It's like a programming language type of thing. You may think that way also. So in a proper manner, they are written. All the scripts are written. Then they are compiled. And as a result of the compilation, if your scripts are proper, desired results will be available. Desired results in the form of different objects at the proper places will be available. So that's how the scientific or technical document, or for that matter, any document can be prepared using LaTex. So that is what it is. Now, I mentioned that because of shortage of time, it may not be possible to introduce all the different types of scripts. But let us start. So when it is a question of title page, please go to the script. So if we want to prepare a title page like this, as we have seen, what we do? So this is the script. Okay. So right hand side is the result, left hand side is the cause basically. The cause is some sequence of scripts, and the effect is basically what is available at the right, which is a title page looking like this. Now, as I have mentioned that since the right hand side is the effect, so we have to understand how, which particular scripts are to be used in order to achieve this type of a result or this type of representation. Now, 2 or 3 things I need to, let us concentrate left side, that means scripting part straightway because of shortage of time. So the first one that we encounter is basically a / document class, then within brace report. To start with, it might be somewhat a bit cryptic, but things are very much logical. Let me assure you that try to be with me or be with us as far as possible so that we can explain and you get satisfactory answer, logical answer out of it as far as possible. So long time permits. So / document class. Now, anything starting with a / means an instruction. Since preparation of objects is the responsibility of a compiler, LaTeX compiler, what is known as LaTeX compiler, LaTeX system. So you need to, as a user, you need to send some instruction. Well, do it, do this, use this, so on and so forth. So if you want to send an instruction to the compiler, / it has to start with / document class means it's an instruction. Instead of / had we used only document class, it would have been a simple, it would have been treated as a simple text rather than an instruction. So the distinction between an instruction and the simple text is whether you start with a / or not. Okay? So document class, then within brace report. Report means the type of document or the class of document that you want to prepare. For the present, we are preparing a report type of document. Report means it may be a thesis, it may be a book or something like that. There are other type of documents as well. In fact, to be honest, report is particularly useful for preparing reports and thesis particularly. For books, there is separate document class called book that is also available in the system. So, we are trying to look into report type of document. Now, this / document class within brace, the specification of the document type that we want to prepare. This is a mandatory declaration, non-negotiable. So whenever something is submitted to the compiler, LaTeX compiler, the first thing that the compiler is going to expect is a particular instruction, which type of document it has to take care of. So / document class within brace report or within brace article, or article it is article. So that's from that specification you will understand well the present mode of document that as the compiler I have to prepare is of report type. Okay. Then there are several / backslash use package, since all the use package all the use package declarations start with backslash, all of them are instructions, needless to say, as I have already mentioned. Now, different use package declarations are used for the purpose of, first of all, they appear as some header component or header, header specification, and they are used for the purpose of using different type of utilities, readily available by the system. Okay, for example, there are so many. It's not possible to explain each and every individually. For example, just one or two examples. For example, backslash use package GraphicX. This particular GraphicX is a sort of library utility where it deals with graphics or figure type of situations. Okay, so if your document needs figure objects be needed in some stage of your document, then backslash use package GraphicX need to be specified. Okay, so there are different like this. For example, say backslash use package AMS math. So if you want, advanced symbols in mathematics, then AMS math is the library that you need to use. You need to specify. So basically these AMS math, these GraphicX, or all these things appearing within brace after this use package declaration, they are all libraries, associated libraries, which need to be linked, and this use package declaration is particularly aimed at that. Okay, so after this header containing so many use packages, then after that there may be use package, still use package. Then there is margin size. The margin size is basically setting your margin. So when it comes to the question of appearance of a document, there are 4 margins: top margin, bottom margin, right margin, left margin. So these four margins can be parameterized using this backslash margins size declaration. Okay, so if the compiler encounters this backslash margins size instruction, it will set the margin accordingly. So there are 4 parameters, appearing immediately after that, 2 cm each. So accordingly, 2 cm top margin, 2 cm right margin, 2 cm left margin, and 2 cm bottom margin will be set. So it's up to you which particular margin you want to set. You have to specify that there only. Well, then comes a begin document, backslash begin document. Look, it also starts with backslash begin. So this means it's an instruction given to the compiler. Compiler also understands that this is an instruction, and this is the logical beginning point of the document. Okay, so whenever begin document starts, whatever appears after that will come under the purview of the so-called operations, whose effects will be visible in the document. Okay, so the begin document is the logical starting point of the document that we want to prepare, and end document corresponding, there will be backslash end document. End document is the logical, the other counterpart, where it's a logical ending of the document. So the moment backslash end document is encountered as an instruction by the compiler, it will understand, yeah, my service is over, my service is no longer required. So whatever may appear after this backslash end document declaration, I don't have to go there as the compiler. So this is my purview. So this is the end into whatever I was expected to do. So this is all that. Okay. Then now coming to the question of this title page, please note that backslash include title page, this instruction. I am coming to this new column type and all these declarations just immediately after that. Now backslash include title page means basically the content of the title page is maintained in a different file, and by using \include, basically you fetch that from this title page file. It's some sort of a very much similar like a function call in a programming language. Okay, so basically whenever \include is encountered, or interchangeably \input is also used. So the in effect, \include or \input, they work in a very similar manner. And so whenever this is encountered, the compiler understands that it's no task to fetch that particular file named say title page or whatever is present there to be fetched from the corresponding directory, and accordingly, the processing need to be done on that. Okay? Now, before that, this new column type or these things basically is a centering and other type of formatting. What is known as formatting. So some formatting issues on this title page that is specified there. Okay? So the effect of these is basically formatting related declarations. Okay, now because of shortage of time, I cannot individually explain it in details. But the spirit or the essence of whatever has been discussed is that the content of a title page can be properly formatted as per our requirement that you can do. So there is the scope of parameterization or scope of controlling or regulation is very much at your hand as the user. Okay. Then comes three instructions: \table of contents, list of tables, and list of figures. And this is very interesting. In fact, these three are very powerful utilities offered by LaTeX system. The one that possibly is not available in your Microsoft Word or some word processing document, word processing software like this. Basically, \table of contents, whenever this instruction is encountered by the compiler, it understands that I have to prepare the table of contents, number one. Now, in course of preparing fetching the information from different chapters with their page marks, along with their sections under them, along with subsections under each subsection, along with their page information, these are to be collected, and accordingly, this is to be prepared in a structured manner like this, hierarchically structured manner like this. But the numbering will be automatically done by the system. As the user, you don't have to bother. So the first chapter, for example, is numbered as 1 with title introduction. The second chapter is the one tables in LaTeX, for example. Then within tables of LaTeX, for example, there are two sections, 2.1, numbered 2.1 and 2.2. The 2.1 is the section index 2.1 is table. The section with 2.2 is basically insert images within table. And then within 2.1 section, there may be subsections down the level. So 2.1.1, 2.1.2, 2.1.3, like this. So all this structuring down to the subsection level, the chapter, then hierarchically at the next level down, there are sections, then the next level down is subsections. So these structuring informations are collected by the compiler along with their respective page marks, and they are basically maintained or pasted or posted in a very structured manner like this, creating the table of content page for you automatically. So it is the entire responsibility of the system. As a user, you don't have to bother about where exactly your section is within a chapter and where it is. For example, suppose presently your section starts from say your section 2.1.1, it starts from some page index. Okay. Now afterwards you add something. So as a result of this addition, it may so happen that earlier the page mark or page count of subsequent sections or subsections is no more valid because of the additional stuff inside. So everything gets altered. Okay, so it's an effect where so many objects, that means sections and chapters, subsequent sections and chapters, subsections, they are affected. They are affected means their page marks are affected basically. But you don't have to bother. The new page marking will automatically be taken care of by the system. As the user, it is not your botheration. As the user, what is your botheration? It's just to specify the instruction properly, / table of contents. That's it. Same is the story with list of figures, where all the figures, along with their page marks, will be, with all their relevant information, will be collected by the system itself. As accordingly, this list of figures will be, figures page will be made available like this, where the 5.1, the figure numbers are very important. 5.1 means it is of format x.y, where the first component, that means x.y, this x component is the chapter number or chapter index, and the y is the figure index within that chapter. This means that 5.1 means the first figure under chapter 5. Okay, 6.3, for example, had it been there, means that the third figure within chapter 6. 2.6 means the sixth figure within chapter 2, like this. Okay, so accordingly, all the figures will be made available along with their page indexing by the system itself. You don't have to bother. If there is any, because of any modification, if there is any change in the page marking, it will be taken care of automatically by the system. You don't have to bother. So your botheration is to declare it properly in the form of / list of figures. I hope we start realizing the real power. Similar is the story of list of tables, / list of tables, where similarly this type of page will be generated along with their, and the numbering mechanism, x.y mechanism is very much similar. So 1.1 means the first table within chapter 1. 2. For example, below 2.1 means the first table under chapter or within chapter 2, so on and so on. So this x.y mechanism is very much a valid one in case of a report, with x tending for the chapter indexing, that is the first one, and followed by this y representing the particular index of that particular object within chapter x. So that is the convention that is being followed by the system. Okay. So after this, then there are some instructions like page break, / page break, page numbering, head counter. So these are particularly useful. For example, page break. So page break, / page break means that you go to the new page. You are instructing the compiler that, well, don't use anything more in this particular page. So you go to the next available page, new page. Okay, something like that. So some sort of interrupt. So page numbering means you may need to number your pages using some convention. May it be Arabic, 1, 2, 3, etc. May it be Roman 1, Roman 2, Roman 3, so on and so forth. So whichever particular page numbering mechanism you want to adopt, you can specify it there. Okay, so accordingly you have to specify using page numbering, / page numbering instruction. And set counter is particularly used for the context of using the particular page marking, starting page marking from here only. So why this is useful? Because it may so happen that some initial pages may not contain any page numbering. For example, title page. For example, table of contents. It may you may not need the page numbering be available there. It's only the content of the document starting from the chapter that wherefrom you need your counter be set. So accordingly, set counter is used for that. Okay, so now look, backslash input or backslash include I mentioned. These are individual instructions to fetch different materials from those respective files. So whenever backslash input then in introduction is available or is made available here, this instruction means that the compiler will expect in that directory itself a particular file called introduction.tex. Now, by the way, I forgot to mention the typical file name where these scripts are written. It's a .tex, must be having .tex extension. Tex means text. So accordingly, your compiler is going to expect introduction.tex for the file there. So whenever it gets that, it will collect all the information from that file. So it's basically a function call type of thing, as I have mentioned earlier. Okay. So once the introduction content is over, that means the content in the file introduction.tex is over, then the next one. So for example, the table backslash input table, it will once again switch over to the next like this. So in fact, the way we have structured or we have tried to structure is basically the different types of objects. Each and every individual objects have been specified or have been prepared within a specific chapter. So for the time being, we shall come back to chapter introduction later on. Better we start with, because of shortage of time, we start with say, the table. Okay, so chapter 2. Don't get upset. We shall come back to chapter 1 afterwards. Okay. So chapter 2 means how to prepare different tables or tabular-like structures in LaTex. So for example, this particular table. Okay, where there are different a number of columns, a number of rows, forming different cells, and any cell may contain objects like say text objects or text descriptions, or maybe scientific or mathematical expressions like this also. So within a particular cell, what may be the structure that is absolutely flexible? Okay. This is number one. So if we want to prepare a particular table looking like this, what is the code that is important? So go to the code, please. Let's see. Table. Okay. Well, look at it. So for preparing a table, what you need is so-called an environment. Okay, first of all, this chapter, backslash chapter is the description, I mean the title. So any chapter, any new chapter that you want to incorporate has to start with backslash chapter, goes without saying, is understood. And then within base that the title of the chapter or the particular name of the chapter that you want to use. Okay, then there is backslash label. So it's basically backslash label is used for labeling this particular chapter using an unique tag. So the tag is unique. For example, ch:1 is the tag used for this particular chapter. So it means that whenever after this backslash label is specified, afterwards ch:1, whenever this tag is used, it means that the compiler will understand that it is this particular chapter. For example, here the chapters backslash reference. If you want to refer this particular chapter anywhere in the document, not only within this particular chapter, it may be anywhere across your entire document, wherever. Maybe chapter 6, it may be anywhere. So then, in order to call that or invoke that, the corresponding backslash reference within brace this tag. So this is what is known as label reference using tag facility available in in LaTeX, offered by LaTeX. Only thing as the user, what you have to keep in mind, first of all, the privilege that you enjoy by this is that each and any object, may it be a chapter, may it be a section, may it be a table, may it be a figure, whatever, it can be labeled using this \label description with a unique tag associated to it. Okay, as a user, first of all, you have to label each and every individual object with proper labeling, number one. And what is more important is that the tag that you use must be unique so that there is no ambiguity. Two different objects must not get same tag under any circumstance. The reason is understandable, because if two different objects get the same tag, it will not be possible for the system to discern actually when \ref is encountered by it as to which particular object it is pointing to, or it is under consideration, because there is an ambiguity. So the scope, or the possibility of ambiguity must not be there. And as the user, you have to ensure that you may use any number of label reference, any number of labels, first of all, and any number of references you want to use. Doesn't matter. Logically, you can use any number. But only thing, as the user, you have to be very, very alert that any object must have unique tagging associated to it. Okay. So as a result of this \reference, you see this is the chapter 2. Okay. This 2, that means the chapter number 2. This 2 is generated by the system. Now, perhaps we are not exactly not in a position readily to understand the power. See, this is chapter number 2. Okay. Now, what flexibility we enjoy by it? Suppose this present chapter becomes chapter number 3 because of infiltration of another chapter in between. That means between chapter number 1 and chapter number 2. So it's basically \input, then another file name. That is what you needed. This description. Okay. So, but the result is catastrophic in the sense that the moment a new chapter is introduced in between, the entire numbering mechanism gets altered. Entire indexing gets altered. It's not only the chapters, there are sections, there are subsections, there are individual labels, everything. Now, what happens here, for example? Suppose now it is chapter 2. For some reason or other, it becomes chapter 3, say, for example, because of introduction of an additional chapter in between chapter 1 and present chapter 2. Now it becomes chapter 3. So, interestingly, now the effect of this use of label reference utility or facility, the numbering that was earlier showing 2, okay, chapter 2 will now figure as chapter 3. Okay, wherever this \reference is encountered, now in the new scenario, your chapter 2, since your chapter 2 has become chapter 3, it will be automatically adjusted by the compiler. As a user, you don't have to bother. So this is the power that you enjoy, or that is provided or offered by the system. Once you use label tag and corresponding reference tag for its retrieval, complying this uniqueness tagging mechanism, as I have already mentioned, you are safe. You don't have to bother. Any numbering, any referencing, and that its numbering will be taken care of by the system automatically. Okay. Then within a chapter there will be sections. The \section is the declaration. Okay. So since this is the title is the table, it means that the first section within the chapter 2 is available. So that is why the section number is 2.1. Chapter 2 first section. Okay. Then look, for this particular section also there is a label, unique labeling. Okay, then comes within chapter, within this section there may be several subsections. Each and every subsection may have its own tagging or labeling. Okay, so the first subsection under section 2.1 will be numbered 2.1.1 x.y.z, which means that this is Z, means Z stands for the subsection, particular subsection. So the first subsection under section 2.1, and 2.1 section means the first section under chapter 2. This is the way it is built. Okay. Backslash index I cannot explain for the time being, because backslash index is just I'm going to give you the clue. Your book or maybe your document may contain several several index page at the end of your document. Those may be there, right? So for preparing your index page, backslash index is used. But because of shortage of time, once again, it will not be possible to cover all these things. Okay, so coming to table, in fact, the one that I wanted to talk of. So if I want to prepare a table or tabular structure like this, what we have to do? So this is the code component or script component. Please note that backslash begin, then there is a center, then once again begin tabular. Okay. Now whatever appears immediately after the backslash begin declaration is called an environment. Accordingly, center is an environment. Accordingly, tabular is an environment, so on and so forth. In fact, to be honest, since our document starts with a backslash begin document, it means the document itself is an environment. And document is a mandatory environment. You cannot, because it indicates the logical starting point, so to say. And then different environments are there which you may need to use, and which environment gives which effect. That is what we have to learn. So coming to this particular tabular structure, see, first of all, how many columns are there? 3 columns are there. In fact, for 3 columns, please note, please consult the left-hand side code. So there are 3 column specifications: vertical bar, then C, then once again vertical bar C, then once again vertical bar, then C, then vertical bar. So vertical bar stands for the separator. Okay. So how many vertical separators are there? The first one, the extreme left one. Then the second one in between the first column and the second column. Then the third one in between the second column and the third column. And the final one, that means the extreme right one. So there are 4 such vertical separators that you need. Okay, accordingly there are 4 vertical bar type of is available in your keyboard. They are specified here. Next comes the specification of C. C stands for central adjustment. Look, if you specify C, it means that your content will appear at the central position of a cell. Now, it may so happen that the content of a cell may be needed right adjusted. Then you have to specify R instead of C. If you want left adjusted, specification, then you have to specify L. So these are the 3 possibilities: left adjustment or left justification, right justification, and central justification. Accordingly, you can specify using L, R, or C. And the way you parameterize it, the effect will be according to that. Now, next comes for preparing a table or tabular structure like this, the particular environment that is used is tabular environment. So begin tabular, corresponding end tabular, right? And before that, there is a begin center and end center. That means the tabular environment is inserted within center environment. The center means the position of the table will be centrally positioned. Okay, I mean this, which is available from the way it is represented. Okay, so then I need to define backslash H line. H line stands for horizontal line. So the first H line specification generates the top horizontal line for you. Okay, then SL number. So SL number is appearing here. Then expression next. Then remarks next. Now, if you want to segregate which one is the cell content and which one is the next cell content, so you need a separator. Okay. So basically this ampersand is used to demarcate between the content of one cell from another. You see, serial number is appearing in the first column of the first row, then expression, then remarks. Okay. Double backslash means line break, move to new line. So immediately after new line, what you need? Another horizontal line. So that is why for that there is backslash H line there. Then one dot is placed there. Then this mathematical content. Okay, I am not going to explain mathematical content right now because there is a separate, session for that or separate chapter for that. So when we discuss, if time permits, we shall discuss it there. So whatever is available in the table right hand side in the document, that is because of the declaration of this particular coding there in the left hand side. This way it goes, and as a result of this, you get typically a formation of an object like tabular object like this. Now please note that this particular table doesn't have any caption. Okay, so the question comes: if I want a caption be available, that means a suitable table with a caption. That means a table with a suitable caption be available. Then you need another environment in addition to tabular environment for your purpose, like this. The table 2.1 with corresponding caption. Please note that whatever the caption you want, you may place there. But what is important or interesting is the numbering or indexing of the table. It's 2.1. That means it is the first captioned table, so to say, first captioned table under section 2, under chapter 2, I'm sorry, under chapter 2. So since this is the first caption table under chapter 2, it gets the number 2.1, and this number is generated by the system. And this particular number or this particular index corresponding to this particular table description will be made available in your list of tables. Okay, so it's very interesting. It's not only the numbering is done by the system. In addition, the corresponding indexing in the table of list of tables page will also be made available or arranged by the compiler along with page number. So everything is its responsibility. As the user, you just have to know which particular script is useful in which context to prepare which type of object and put it there. So there are two possibilities. One is that you need a tabular structure like this, no caption, fine. If you don't need any caption, you only use tabular environment. But in addition to the tabular environment or tabular structure, if you need a caption, then outside this tabular, you need to use a separate environment called table environment. Both table environment and tabular environments will be needed. This is because the role of individual role are different. Where the internal structure of the table is the responsibility of the tabular environment. The table environment takes care of outside, that means the outer environment is the table environment. This outer table environment is responsible for maintaining the indexing, number one. Number two, the labeling, if there be any, so all these things. Okay, it is its responsibility. Now, because of this, if you use a tabular environment only, no table environment, then it will not going to figure in your table of list of tables, because it will remain unnumbered. Because numbering or indexing can be done using table environment only, and not tabular environment. I repeat, tabular environment takes care of the internal structuring of the table, the way it is represented. And the outer issues like captioning, its numbering, its indexing, its labeling, all these things are the responsibility of the table environment. So jobs are divided between the two environments in non-overlapping manner. And this is the reason why I mentioned, if you have listened properly, that this is the captioned table. Only captioned table will get their indexing in the list of tables. Non-captioned table means no table environment is used, only tabular environment is used. They are not going to appear in your list of tables. So basically, it's like registration. So presence of table environment is registered mechanism. Okay, and avoiding table environment, only using tabular environment, it's unreserved ticket in a train, and you want to travel, but there is no record whatsoever maintained by the railway. Okay, so it's like that. Okay. Now the corresponding codes of each and every individual component will be made available after, if you need, after this, in exactly the verbatim manner. In fact, there is an environment called verbatim. Verbatim means whenever begin verbatim and end verbatim specification is there, the compiler will understand that whatever is residing in between, begin verbatim and verbatim, I have to put it as it is. So it's like a comment line type of structure, comment type of line type of processing that I have to carry out. So it leaves as it is. So what we have done for you, if you really want, we may leave this document for you, where the each and every code segment, or this scripting corresponding objects corresponding to a particular object type or object description will be made available, so that you can collaborate between these two, associate one with the other, and understand that which type of scripting is needed to obtain or to get which type of effect as an object. So we have tried to make it as far as possible. Now there are different variants of tables. For example, rotated table. So if your table structure is like this, where you have to place it in a rotated manner, so it looks like this. Okay. So in that case, including the caption, that is also rotated. Okay. So in that case, instead of using table outer environment as table, you need to use rotate table. Okay. So sideways table, I'm sorry. Begin sideways table. So sideways table is the, instead of table, it is sideways table. Means that you need the rotated version. Yeah. So automatically, whenever sideways table is encountered by the system, it will understand that I have to place the contents of the table in a rotated manner, not the normal standard manner. But inside this, everything is the way it works. Okay, only the appearance will be rotated. Okay, next, please. There you go. So after this rotational part, yeah, now look, it's not only rotated, it is rotated 180 degrees. So look at it, very interesting. So the degree of rotation can be parameterized also. I'm not very sure if your word is going to permit this. Okay, so if I want really, for some reason or other, then for that there is code. Where exactly the code is? Let us see. So here is the code. So it's basically begin table. Tabular specification has to be under this backslash rotate box. Backslash rotate box means the entire internal structure will be rotated. And by which degree? It is 180 degree. The result is this. Please note that since the rotate box is applied on the tabular structure only, so only the tabular part, tabular component got rotated, not the caption. Please note, the caption remained as it is, because the caption is outside the purview of, or outside the scope of this rotate box. So it was paired like this by the system. It's quite natural, right? So instead of 180 degree, if you want, say, from some other degree, it's absolutely flexible. So say for example, not 90 degree, maybe something else, 135 degree. Just do. Let us see. If we apply 135 degree, what happens? Compile correct. Let us see. So this is compilation goes on. Okay. So it got rotated by 135 degree. So whichever degree or whichever degree of rotation you want to inject, you can do that. It's entirely at your discretion with the user. Only thing you have to use them, use the specifications properly with the proper class. That's it. I'm not very sure, once again, whether your Microsoft Word, not your, I mean, our Microsoft Word is going to offer you this much of flexibility. Okay. Anyway, so this is this. Then next, Joe. Now, whatever we have discussed so far is the entire, entire tabular content got affected. The rotational effect, was seen everywhere inside the table. Now, instead of everywhere, if I want, say, cell-wise, say for example, that means the content of a specific cell, I want rotation. I want rotational effect, some atomic level, better to say. Okay, whether this can be done? Yeah, definitely done. So for that, rotate environment is there, and the rotate environment can be applied individually on each and every content within a cell. Okay, so for example, this property, the rotation is of 90 degree. Okay, property 1. For property 2, it is 270 degree, and so on and so forth. For property 3, there is 0 degree means it's standard. Okay? So that is why property 3 is appearing like this, standard. So anything, something, some other combination, maybe 193 degree. Okay. Yeah, just see. So this will be effective on property 1. Let us see. Now the property 1 is like this. Let us see. Just compile. So the compilation is going on. See the effect. Okay. Okay. So this is all more or less something about, yeah. Then any degree, any amount of degree that you want, you can control it within this rotate specification. You will parameterize it. Okay, next. তারপরে কি আছে চলো একটু then there may be multi-column, multi-row. That means basically the merging effect that you can have, but better time is extremely short. So it's basically, I think, better we let us drop. Okay, rather we go to the next one. So these things also can be done, and the codes are also provided here. Okay, so it will be made available to you after once it is over. So merging of columns and merging of rows are also possible. Next, there is very interesting one. There is very interesting one where it's an object, complex type of object, where the left-hand side, first of all, it's a structure. It is a tabular structure. And in the left-hand side, there is a figure. It's not text or anything else. And the right-hand side contains, I mean, some lists. So what to do? So the outer environment is table as it is because it is captioned. Then and it is centrally adjusted. For that, it is center specification is there. And then there is tabular specification. And tabular is very interesting. Look, then C, then P. Okay. So P we know central adjustment. P stands for this P stands for picture basically. Okay. So as a result, basically, if you want to accommodate picture or figure environment or figure type of object, then you need to specify accordingly. And this 5 cm stands for the width of that particular figure that you want to have. This is 5 centimeter. You can specify it as per your requirement. Okay? And then there is another concept called raise box. Raise box means basically the height of the object. That means here the particular figure of the lion that can be adjusted. It can be raised or it can be made a bit lowered. It can be lowered or made to appear higher. So the level adjustment can be done, vertically speaking. So for this, it is raise box. \raise box is the environment for that, or is the instruction for that. All right. Then there is itemize. This ampersand is, you have already explained. Ampersand is basically the field separator in a table. So the first field is this one, okay, and the second field is the lion, figure of the lion. And in order to have the figure, \include graphics is the specification. \include graphics is the specification, along with the image file name or figure file name. Lion is the file name, typically available in standard image format. You have to make sure that it is present there in your corresponding directory or folder. So in any standard image format, say BMP, TIFF, GIF, or PNG, or whatever, PDF, whatever it may be. So that must be made available. So once that is available, it is fetched from there, from the folder, and the content will be pasted accordingly. So it is done accordingly. Now the second part is basically it's not a simple text, rather it's an itemized text. So itemized means basically listing. So the number of objects like this in possibly bulleted manner, or maybe otherwise also. The number of objects, they appear as items, individual items, and the entire structure with all individual items together, they form an object like this. So for this, begin itemized, then end itemized corresponding. Okay. So as a result of the application of this begin itemized, end itemized, your bulleted item specified in this manner will appear like this. Okay. So why we have given this as an example? The reason is that while preparing a table, while using tabular or table, this this type of environments, you can tackle text very well. You can merge, columns or rows, though not covered because of paucity of time, but they may be done. The quotes are also provided, very simple. Otherwise, there is nothing very tricky about it. It's very natural extension. Now, incidentally, apart from this textual description, non-textual description like a figure, like list, that means a compound type of structure. List is a compound type of structure where multiple items together form the content or object as a whole. So they may also be accommodated within the structure of a table. That is what is important. So it means that your table can be a flexible one with its individual components, maybe anything for that matter. Okay, then go to next. Okay. So chapter, I mean, this is more or less all about tables. Once again, shortage of time could not permit to make it further detailed. Next comes lists. Some part of lists which we have already explained. Itemize is an environment where you can have bulleted type of or representation of items in bulleted form that is available. Apart from your itemize as an environment to prepare lists, there are other environments also. For example, description is an environment. There may be enumerate environment. So description environment, because of description environment, you get what? You get this thing. That means this instead of bullet, it means that hello. It means that this instead of bullet, you want to use some text, say biology, physics, or psychology, or whatever it may be. So in place of bullet, I want a particular text, maybe a variable size. If you want, description is the environment for that. Okay, if I want numbered items, then enumerate is the environment. Okay. For example, enumerate. If you use enumerate, you get numbering like this: 1, 2, 3. Begin enumerate, end enumerate. Then within enumerate, you have to apply \item type of description to indicate which are your items. Logically, there may be any number of items that you want to put in. That's absolutely fantastic. I mean, there is nothing, no restriction upon that. So these are different ways you can regulate your elements of a list or items, maybe in numbered manner, maybe in bulleted manner, maybe in text manner, or whatever. Different possibilities or different type of options are there. And for this, you use environments like itemize, description, and enumerate. So this itemize, description, or enumerate, they are used for preparing list, different forms of list. Right. Now, suppose I want to rotate the content of a list as it is appearing here. So what to do? A clever way of doing it. So we have seen that a tabular environment, individually within a tabular environment, the effect of rotation can be given. Okay. So basically, we are exploiting that. Okay. So basically, the entire content, this itemized environment is put inside, or maybe You can straightaway also directly use bullet, or if you want some other type of numbering, you can do it. And within tabular, you may have nested structure of itemized environment or description environment, or itemized environment or enumerate item environment, whatever you want. So embedding is possible or nesting is possible. Since it is allowing this, that means within a tabular environment, all these specifications can be there. What else? We can well exploit them. So the outer environment is a tabular environment, put everything inside, make sure there is no caption. I want to avoid caption, fine. And then give the effect of your rotate box outside. The amount of rotation that I want to have, it's 45 degrees. So as a result, you get a list like this. If instead of 45 degree, some other degree specification would have been specified, accordingly that much amount of rotation would have taken place. Okay. So more and more finer detailing may be there. For example, if I want to have a structure like this, okay, where look, there is a A, that means the numbering. Sorry, A and then A1, then the table. The structure typically looking like this. So what we need to do? So the external environment is enumerate. So then within enumerate, another enumerate. Naturally, the first enumerate takes care of this A part. The second enumerate takes care of this one part, that is Roman one part. And then within that, the tabular environment, like this. So that is all these flexibilities you can enjoy. Okay. Preparing your scientific or technical document using different features like this, where you enjoy lots of flexibilities, you can, all you have to learn, what gives which effect, which script provides which effect. So once you get habituated, you are in absolute command. Okay. So this is something about some discussions on listing. Okay. Next comes expressions, some points on a mathematical expression. So since a typically scientific or technical document may have several mathematical expressions represented. So see. So an equation like this, right hand side. So an equation looking like this. Please note that the equation has a number associated to it. And the numbering is 4.1. This is the equation number. I told you, like before, equation number or numbering the equations is the responsibility of the system. It is, as the user, you don't have to bother. So since it is the first available equation encountered by the system in chapter 4, that is why it is equation number 4.1. Okay. Now, how to prepare this? Excuse me. How to prepare this? This is the description. So SSE equal to, now frac stands for generating fractional type of structure. So 1/2, this is a fractional structure. So accordingly, we use frac, \frac, and the numerator is specified first, followed by the denominator in the description. Okay, then that is why, as a result of \frac 1, 2, you will get 1/2. Okay, then \sum means it yields the symbol like summation. Okay, then _p stands for subscript. So this particular, if you want to use or have a subscript like this, so you have to put it underscore immediately after underscore followed by this. Then \sum I means subscript is I as before. Then ypi minus tpi whole square. So if instead of a single character, there are multiple characters which you want to appear as your subscript, then you have to put it within brace. If no brace is available, only one character will be entertained as your subscript. Okay. So as a result, your this YPI minus TPI, then bracket things are taken care of automatically, and then cadet 2. Cadet means it's superscript. So if you want to raise the power, or cadet superscript. As a result, this type of structure comes out. All right. Next comes the next one, where another point is that please note that your equation is appearing automatically at the middle. Automatically at the middle. So now, if you want to have this, the environment that we have used, that is equation environment. Please consult the left-hand side. That means the code part. So equation environment is particularly used to generate an equation like this along with your equation number, proper equation number, right? Okay, now suppose I want this centrally adjusted or centrally appearing mathematical expression without equation number. I don't want equation number to be present. Then everything, whatever we do for generation or preparing this equation, that will be done automatically or as it is, as has been described already. To start with $, then to end with $. So anything in between $, begin $, and end $, will be treated as some mathematical expression to appear without equation number, and that too at the middle of the page. Okay. All right. Then comes next. In a running text, if you want like this, that means the situation is different. So while there is a running text, you want some mathematical expression. For that, a single $. So you use the same thing, same argument for preparing your expression, mathematical expression. But you have to start with a single $, and you have to end with a single $. Now the reason why $, all these things are used, because in this context, two modes are operative. One mode is textual mode, where normal text or textual textual contents are taken care of. And well, then there is another mode which is a mathematical mode, where mathematical issues are considered by the compiler. And as the user, you have to demarcate between these. So a single $, or a consecutive $2 will enable the textual mode to switch over to mathematical mode, and the corresponding $, or corresponding single $, will once again make it switch back to the text mode or mathematical mode. So if in order to enabling or disabling this one mode into another, you need $, and the $, this type of specification. This is number one. And number two, there are certain environments which are mathematically enabled, where equation is an environment which is mathematically enabled. That means whenever begin equation, end equation, or begin equation is encountered with corresponding end equation specification, the compiler will automatically understand that, well, now everything in between this equation environment is mathematical. So I have to deal with mathematically. Okay. Okay. Next is this type of a thing, where typically we may need multiple definitions like this, using a second bracket like this. So if I want to have a typical representation like this, what to do? Let's go there. The corresponding environment is, as usual, equation. But since multiple things have to be taken care of, within equation there is array. So array is basically taken care of multiple scenarios. The equation part is taking care of this equation number, central adjustment, and all these things. And because of multiple, multiple presence of multiple items like this, mathematical items, better to say, you need to use this this array as an environment, inner environment. Okay, and then look at it. Ti equal to backslash left means backslash left backslash L brace. It means that this appearance of this second bracket structure like this. Then within begin array and array you specify 1, 0 or 1. Basically, since you use array is structurally very much similar like a table or a tabular. It's very much similar like a tabular, but only difference is that array is mathematically enabled, tabular is textually enabled. Okay, so if you are in mathematical mode, then you use array for this purpose, and if you are in textual mode, you use this tabular environment. Okay, so it's things like that. Then this is another example where there are multiple array. That means basically in effect, the effect of equation, equivalent, and equation and array, they are. So it's very much a situation. Specify different or to have different type of mathematical items like this in your expression. It's a complex expression that way. With some of them being numbered, some of them are not. Okay, see, there are 3, but there are 2 are numbered, 1 is not. So if you want to have this, then equivalent array is the one that you want. So what you get here is the code left hand side. So it's very much the same way. Only thing, if you don't want any numbering, then backslash no number has to be specified. Otherwise, by default, the system is going to generate numbering individually for each and every corresponding description. Okay, for example here, because of this, since first and third one they don't have any no number specification, they are having their equation number automatically available. But since the second one specifies that there is no number, so there is no numbering here. Okay, so that you can control. Right. Next. So it's a matrix or determinant type of thing if you want, quite frequently needed in mathematical expression. So for that, what exactly is? There are P matrix or B matrix type of thing. P matrix or maybe P matrix stands for parenthesized matrix. Basically, P matrix means this parenthesis, first parenthesis, first type of parenthesis. Okay. Then if you want the determinant to be in, this is B matrix, vertical, only vertical line will be there. Here this matrix or B matrix. So there are different. It's never possible to complete everything within such a short span of time. So all these things are there. Okay, so this is more or less quite frequently used, some of the quite frequently used objects in mathematics or dealing with mathematical expressions like that. Okay, I think time, what is the time scenario? I am already completed my time slot, right?
Yes, sir. It is. You can continue up to 4:15. No problem, sir.
No, but there are. So this is one logical point where you can stop, because the next, or if I want to start with the next topic, 5-6 minutes is not sufficient, to be honest.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, it's better in my opinion. It's better, and all the all the objects, their representations vis-a-vis their coding. All these things are here. It may be made available if you want. No problem. Okay, so that if anybody is interested or whosoever are interested may
So
continue.
you can share the materials along with the code. We'll share with the participants.
It can be provided, no problem.
Okay.
Immediately after the class is over, session is over, I can provide it. No issue.
Thank you, sir.
But rather alternatively, there are certain questions. While I was engaged in my talk.
Yes, sir. There are 2-3 questions.
Yeah. Can you please decode them and?
Yes, sir. The first question was from Manish Kumar. He was trying to know that what is the popularity of LaTeX among social science researchers?
Honestly speaking, once again, this is shortage of time. That is the culprit, right? To be honest. See, if your size of your report is moderate, where it's possible to regulate things manually, you are safe. Okay. To be honest, using Microsoft Word may be more meaningful. But the moment your report contains, say, 45 chapters, okay, with different chapters having different sections, a number of sections, subsections, so many tables, so many, what is that? Listings and all that. Okay. Different referencing, level reference. I could not complete how bibliography can be very effectively tackled. Very much similar, notionally very similar like this level reference. So the citation can be done by the system itself. You don't have to bother. This is automated. That I could not cover because of want of time. So you will be there. And only those items which are to be numbered, which are to be indexed properly. So everything is the responsibility of the system. No responsibility whatsoever rests on the user. So as the user, you can manage moderate size, but as a human being, when your size grows, you are really in trouble. Okay. So by adding one line may change the entire page numbering mechanism, page indexing, everything. Okay. So once again, if your size is moderate, whether in social science or wherever, if it is humanly manageable, fantastic. But when the thing becomes larger and larger, it grows in size, it becomes humanly manageable, and in that event, you have to depend on system, and for that, okay, and you must be very very comfortable that it is going to take care of everything for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the response, sir.
Okay, sir, there is the next question is from G. Ganapati. He's trying to ask that is LaTeX a word processor?
It's yeah, definitely. It's a word processor, document processor, to be more specific. So word and document is something a superset sort of thing. It's not exactly word processor, it's a document processor where. But well then, Microsoft Word is also a document processor from that point of view. Only thing, the way these two are used, these two are different.
Okay, sir, next question is will Mendeley work with LaTeX? Mendeley.
the result. I mean, the result is the responsibility of the result to be created is the responsibility of the system. But if you want to have a particular result in a specific manner, all you need to, as a user, all you need to be alert about is exactly which code or which type of script is to be used in a specific context. Okay, so once you learn that, then you are through. Yeah, any other question?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Next question is, will Mendeley work with LaTeX?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, any standard, I should say, not to speak of prestigious, any standard publishing house or publishing platform, they have their LaTeX counterpart. LaTeX support, definitely. To be honest, in Europe, or maybe somewhat in America, if a publishing platform is devoid of LaTeX, at least to the scientific community, technology community, I mean, it's going to suffer, simply suffer, from market point of view. To be honest, if I have to submit a paper, an article, where there is no LaTeX format available, I won't consider. As simple as that. Because there are other competitors, equivalent or if not better, where I can submit or communicate my article. Simple, very simple. It's absolutely market requirement that all the standard platforms have to, or rather had to, cope up with LaTeX. It's the demand supply. You provide LaTeX as a facility, or just perish. That's it. Anything else?
Okay, sir. Thank you. I hope there is no other questions. The rest of the question. Okay, so you have mentioned that the citation part you did not cover due to the shortage of time. So in the next tomorrow, the first session is again in LaTeX using Overleaf or using the online platform version. So we'll request our the speaker of that session to cover up the citation part. So I think that may be covered tomorrow.
It will be an excellent opportunity, and I wish every success. And I'm sure that from whatever has been covered so far, things will be fantastic.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind consent to present on our workshop.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.